Hey everyone, welcome to yet another edition of Sports Talk here at the Williamsport Sun-Gazette. I'm John Girardi, sports editor, alongside Henry Huber, as usual, breaking down some more wrestling. And let's kind of get into it, Henry. You know, last week you covered Warrior Run's duel against Montoursville. Warrior Run with a 29-24 win, but you know, early on, Warrior Run goes up 20-0. Looks like they're going to steamroll, and then Montoursville starts making things interesting, and it makes this a thriller down till the end. You know, what kind of stuck out to you about Montoursville and what they were kind of doing in that duel?
I mean, like, even those early matches, which, I mean, they started at 145, so, you know, Reagan and Cameron Milheim are like right up to bat there. Like, even like those matches where I was expecting Warrior Run to win, they really kept things close. Like Owen Kleinman had a really good match against Cole Shupp, and and then even once Warrior Run got out to that lead, I kind of had a feeling it was gonna turn around, and then they pick up a really close win by decision. Cole Yonkin to get the ball rolling, and then like Lanham Morehard pulled off a really big pin, and that's like what essentially got Montoursville back into it. And
as I say, you know, in wrestling, it's one of those sports where once you get a little bit of momentum, it can kind of carry you a long way. And that, it seemed like from reading your story and kind of following along with that, that's kind of what happened there. Once they started getting, you know, a few points, a few wins, then all of a sudden it's a close duel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they get it to within two before Warrior Run picks up a big win. I'm trying to think where that was. I think it was to get them back to 23-18, and then the preceding match, like David Kennedy, who's one of Montoursville's best wrestlers. I was expecting him to pick up bonus points there, and Warrior Run turns around, and Gavin Hunter had a really good match there to keep it at 3. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned Reagan Milheim and Cameron Milheim, kind of boom, back to the lineup with Reagan at 152, Cameron at 160, which are two huge heavyweights to have. Yeah. Two heavyweight hitters there to have boom right back to back to get you some points. You know, Reagan beat Hayden Harvey, who's I believe a freshman, by major decision 12-2. But you know, our former writer here, Mitch Rupert, I saw mention on Twitter about how Hayden's kind of someone who's kind of keep an eye on him later down the road. Did he kind of stick out to you in that bout?
Absolutely, and I mean, just the fact that he was able to survive the full 6 minutes against Reagan Milheim, who's very much known for his offensive game, like pulling off quick pins. I mean, that in of itself was impressive. I think like just it shows composure, and just having a cool head against someone with crazy offensive tools like Reagan.
Yeah, you mentioned Dave Kennedy. I mean, he beat by decision Gavin Hunter at 127. A nice win for him there. And then kind of talk a little bit about 133 Max Warrensberger against Carter Stone. Warrensberger picked up the fall in the second period, but I felt like Stone's a talented wrestler for Montoursville. I guess talk about Warrensberger a little bit and what he was able to kind of do to get that win.
It was it was a surprisingly close first period. I'm not really sure what the score was, but it was like I remember being surprised that Carter was keeping it close. But then out of the gate. The second period, I want to say Max started on top, and it was like boom, bam, just done.
Yeah.
Like one quick conversion, and I think that kind of just shows, even as a sophomore, he's got an incredible amount of experience. I mean, just like his technique in that specific moment, kind of displays that.
Montoursville, they're 17-2 now. They swept the competition at the Bison Duels in Clearfield this week, and they beat, in my notes here, Clearfield 32-31 in a tight match. Beat General McLean 32-29 in a tight one. cruised against Ridgeway 59-9 and Kerwinsville 59-13 and beat Indiana 56-8. But I think, having a tight duel against Warrior Run like that, beating Clearfield and General McLean in tight duels, I think that's going to be beneficial once, the District 4 duels and the postseason rolls around for those wrestlers that have been in those tight spots where you need to pick up pretty much every point you can in a match.
Absolutely, and that's like kind of what Montoursville's head coach Matt Yonkin discussed, was that he felt that they didn't wrestle their best, but that it was a good it gave them a good feel for that level of competition, and it kind of serves as a bit of a wake up call heading into postseason.
In Warrior Run, rather, they're 16-0 right now. They completely dominated at the PHAC Division III duels on Saturday. I think coming into this, we were talking about how I don't think anyone scored more than 10 points against them, and they're just steamrolling their opponents pretty much all year. They're so talented from top to bottom of that lineup. They don't really have any weak spots.
I think with the exception of maybe 107 and 285, it is I want to say 14 of the 20 wrestlers they've had compete this year have winning records, and as a team they've won 73% of their matches.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. They're just on a different level. And credit to Jeremy Best for keeping that program under Wayne Schmidt before, they were just obviously a talented program. Then he comes and takes over, and these just keeps them at that winning level, perhaps even more so. And it's just the talent on that roster, like you said, it's just crazy how good they are all over.
Yeah, and the Milheims and Warrensburger get like a lot of that attention, but like guys like Cole Shupp, he's like I want to say he's 26-6, really good wrestler. Connor Parker gave state qualifier Cole Yonkin a really good match. Honestly, I'd argue he dominated the second and third periods against Cole. But Cole's first period, his output there, I think got him the win. It's just as I said, just 14 guys that are well-rounded.
Yeah. And that kind of brings us to, this Friday, Warrior Run is wrestling at Montgomery. That's going to be, I'm sure, a packed house. That's going to be a really fun duel. And, the Connor Hare against Cameron Milheim at 160.
Yeah.
I'm sure Cameron's had that one marked as soon as the schedule came out that he wants another shot at Connor. Last year they met up 6 straight weekends, I believe it was, or 6 out of 7 in the postseason, including states, regionals, all that. And Connor just every time managed to get the edge on Cameron, every single time, including winning the state title over him. You have to think Cameron's coming into this one with a chip on his shoulder, thinking, "I want to get that win over Connor. I want to do it." Absolutely.
No, I think, and I think he's made the improvements to where that's going to be even more interesting. I talked to Betts after that match, and he was talking about his offensive improvements, which I think were evident in his match with why am I blanking there? Gage Wenzel.
Yeah.
Against a very good defensive player, he got a really nice leg grab takedown to take the early lead and then carry that through. So I'm very, very interested to see how that match goes.
Yeah. Hopefully the way that they start it, hopefully, so that's kind of the main event, because I think that's what everyone wants to see. And then at 133, you could possibly have Brant Hare against Max Warrensburger, which would be another awesome one, because they'd be two return state medalists. I can't remember offhand what Warrensburger finished last year, but I know Brant was a silver medalist. So you got 2 return state medalists there going at it, and that'll be a really fun match if they meet up, depending on who goes in what weight.
I think it's really hard to predict where they're gonna put because I know they've had Brant wrestle at 145, but I thinking about it now, I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Which if that's the case, it's a very, very strong very strong offensive wrestler and Brandt, and then a very technically sound Max Wernsberger, a very good defensive player.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, even if Brandt wrestles up a little bit, you still get those. I mean, they're still solid wrestlers no matter what. He doesn't really get an easy match per se, no matter where he is in that lineup. So that'll be fun to watch. And then you could possibly have Raiden Felix or Nevin Beckel wrestle against Reagan Milheim, depending on where that's at in the lineup too. So that could be another really good one too. There's just going to be a lot of good duels on that match Friday.
I'm really interested to see who Caden Fink ends up going against. He's he kind of gets overshadowed by the Hares a little bit, but he's I think 26-3 on the year, a very, very good wrestler, and Warrior Run has some guys that I think would be interesting. Guys like I mentioned earlier, Cole Shupp could end up against him at 172 or 189. So that's that's going to be like an all around. Like a fun one.
Yeah, I would say Warrior Run Torresville last year was kind of the match of the week if we had to pick one. I think, hands down, without question, Warrior Run Montgomery is the match of the week this week. So if you want to get to that duel Friday, I suggest getting there in plenty of time to get a parking spot and a seat, because that's going to fill up fast there at Montgomery. Well, that's going to do it for us. Henry, you'll be there Friday for that one. You're going to get a good match no matter what to watch. So we'll see you then next week for Sports Talk.